Just because Earth had managed to sidestep the horrors of the anti-life plague doesn't mean the rest of the universe isn't still under threat. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of DCeased War of the Undead Gods issue number 2 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so as this newest issue begins, we actually check back on in with Big Barda and her husband, Mr. Miracle. These two characters, you'll recall, were actually pretty big in all of the different DC stories. And for a second there, it actually seemed like they might be getting their fairy tale happy ending. Barda was actually the first person on Earth cured of the anti-life zombie plague. And Scott had even tried to break the cycle of bad parenting in his family by reconciling with his and Barda's long-lost son, Jacob. Together, the couple had come to New Genesis for a big old-fashioned family reunion. Sadly, as is often the case in this series, they showed up much too late. The entire planet is razed to the ground, and the only thing around for miles is a big, scary black portal. Barda, not being afraid of anything, plans to go through the portal if she thinks her son is on the other side. Thankfully, though, she is stopped from this endeavor by the Black Racer. Racer says that it was a zombified Darkseid who ended up destroying the entire planet and turning its population of new gods into more blood-hungry zombies. Ones who can now actually spread their infection to other worlds across the DC universe through the help of these brand new Doom Tubes. In fact, as it stands right now, zombie Darkseid and his undead legion have already made landfall in Korugar, home of the most famous Yellow Lantern, Sinestro. Yes, it would seem that all the other blood-curdling horrors that Earth was forced to suffer through in the other 3 DC stories are now affecting alien races all over the known universe. However, as I've stated time and time again, zombie apocalypse end of the world stories are also show us what you're made of stories, and in situations like this, villains like Sinestro himself can sometimes actually surprise you when the chips are down. Sinestro takes his entire armada of Yellow Lanterns, as well as their base of Operation Warworld, to go and liberate his ancestral homeland. Now, you're probably thinking, what's going on Earth right about now? Well, you'll recall that Superman and the others had intercepted a fleeing Brainiac. As Brainiac explains, he too had been a victim of zombie Darkseid. In fact, he's so powerful now he was able to rip the 9th level intelligence apart. Of course, not everyone is so quick to trust the former villain like Superman is. You got Guy Gardner there in probably one of the best roles I've ever seen him in, as the dumb guy who just can't shut up and who just can't stop talking to Brainiac, one of the most smartest beings in the universe. He even makes a crack about the whole 9th level intelligence thing, saying, hey, who made up that scale? Oh, you did? Yeah, well, you know what? I can make up my own scale too whenever I want. I just don't want to. Seriously, when are we going to get the comedically mismatched buddy cop show that's just Guy Gardner and Brainiac? Now, as a show of good faith that he truly has turned over a new leaf and is dedicated to trying to save the entire universe, if only so it can keep churning out information for him to catalog, Brainiac actually gives Superman the bottle city of Kandor back. I would say keep that in mind, because that sounds like one of those things that's going to end up being really important later. Now, back on planet Korugar, the Yellow Lanterns decide to go all Star Wars and nuke the planet from orbit by firing their big Warworld laser. The only problem is no one sent the memo to Sinestro's Green Lantern daughter and her good buddy Kyle Rayner. They assume that this is just Sinestro back up to his old villainous ways again. They still don't know Darkseid is spreading a zombie infection across space. And in the end, what they don't know truly ends up hurting everyone, as both hero and villain alike end up getting blindsided by zombified Supergirl. It's also here too, everyone is painfully reminded that the anti-life virus that's turning everyone into zombies isn't your regular old biological virus, it's a techno-organic virus. Meaning that it can basically turn machines into zombies and force them to help spread the plague too. Machines like, oh, I don't know, the massive computers inside Warworld. Seeing as everything around them keeps going from worse to totally fucked, we actually get a totally awesome scene wherein Sinestro and his daughter actually join forces and basically do their own Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern version of the father-son Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z to try and take Darkseid down. It doesn't work, but they should certainly get points for trying. Darkseid ends up popping Sinestro's head off his shoulders like it was a goddamn soda bottle. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Sinestro is dead, who's his lantern ring gonna go to? The heroes have had good luck so far with Green Canary getting the call up. Unfortunately, that luck proves to cut both ways, as the being in the universe at that time who can create the most fear is, well, zombie Darkseid himself, who ends up becoming Yellow Lantern zombie Darkseid, before everything is ultimately said and done and the comic comes to a very shocking close. And so that was DCeased War of the Undead Gods issue number 2, everybody, and after a first issue that was kind of a little slower paced, giving people a chance to get reacclimated into the story that is, kind of dip their toes in, this one hits the throttle and does not stop. Everything that has been great about DCeased is great here, moments of absolute horror, but also moments of heroes and villains alike being forced to put their differences aside to try and fight for the greater good. Tom Taylor really truly is a master of escalation. Just when you think things can't get any worse, he thinks of like 5 other ways it could get way worse. The ante has very much been raised for this series going forward. You see how much the heroes lost and how much they had to put in just to try and save Earth from a zombie apocalypse. Now they have to save the whole universe. I also get the distinct feeling that Supergirl and the Bottle City of Kandor are going to end up being very, very important for how this series shakes out, because they keep signposting it every issue now. Which, you know, good for Kara, she doesn't always get to be the center of attention, and even if that means having to be a zombie to do so, I guess I'll take it. Overall, I'd give this one a very positive 8 out of 10. Good stuff. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.